black.
Let's reach as high as we can.
Reach.
Reach for the ceiling. Good job, Sebastian. Okay. We're gonna put our arms out like this, and we're gonna roll them forward. Slower, G.
No, it's more like that.
Okay. We're gonna do it nice and slow so we get our shoulders into it. Yeah. Okay. Then we're going to cross our arms. Then switch. And then let's shake our arms loose. Yeah, shake them loose.
Chicken loose.
Now we can sit down.
Will Sebastian need his Chromebook?
Don't talk about black coat.
What color is your shirt, Keegan?
Red.
Okay. Okay. Before we even get started with what we're talking about, we started on Tuesday talking about probability. So, what do we think probability is? Do we think it's a chance that something will happen? Or is it something that will happen?
Will,
Okay.
or
What do you think, James? Do you think it's a chance or it will happen?
Chance.
Okay. What do you think, Mackay?
Will happen.
Keegan? Chance or it will happen? Which one?
Will happen.
Curtis? What will happen? No? Okay. We all had different answers, but not that it is the chance that something will happen. And we're doing fine.
Well, yeah, that's what you're. Yes.
Yeah, when we're looking at probability, there's always a chance that something will happen. So that's what, so we're doing good. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna give you guys your organizers back in a minute. Actually, we'll follow along up here. I decided that we're just gonna do a quick review of some of them up here, and then I'm gonna show you with our worksheets. So, we just talked about probability. So that we talked about that it's a likelihood that an event will occur. Not that we were talking about it's a chance. So,
What do you need, Jamal?
it's under, you log into our second period, or third period math, and then week of February 21st, and then it should say probability, and then we're gonna do probability graphic, vocabulary graphic organizer. And the first one should be probability when you open it. The next one that we're going to talk about is.
I can't find it.
No.
Here we go.
We're just going to go down one from that because it starts with probability, and then we're going to go down one. Okay. And then we're going to this next one. We're going to talk about certain. The book definition says is the likelihood that an event will happen. So this, in other words, it will happen. There's like 100% guarantee it will happen. So, how do we want to define it? Do you want just to say that it will happen?
Come on, you guys, you need to use your brains and talk.
Yeah. Not that we're able to do it, not that. So,
How would you explain that in your own words? The likelihood that an event will happen.
yeah, we're thinking of different ways to think about it. How can we break it down?
Come on, you guys, you need to participate. He's asking you a question.
I don't even know what we're doing for real.
We're talking about probability, and certain is one of the types.
Like
And-
certain that something
and-
will happen. So
Yeah.
how else would you say that?
Don't talk about black.
That's not the
Gonna
answer.
happen.
Yeah, that's something we want. Not that.
Awesome.
So not that. One way to look at it is like, do we? One of the examples I can think of, but then I'll let you guys think of one, is that the sun will comes out every day, regardless of the weather. It could be a cloudy day, but the sun will still be shining in some way.
You might be hidden behind the clouds, but it's still back there shining somewhere.
It could be shining in Florida, but not shining here, but it still came out here. Or another example of certain is like that you got 100 out of 100. So we're absolutely certain that you got an A. So who can think of another example that can show that it's certain something will happen? No?
Or it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Let's think of an example.
But think of an example you can tell us something you know is gonna happen for sure.
No more black dirt color.
Yeah, that's a good example is that you're gonna get out of school, but not that you will. Yeah. That's a good one. What do you think, Keegan? Good. Is it certain that you're gonna have a sandwich today? Yes or no?
I know, what else is he gonna have today to eat? For sure.
Yeah.
Huh?
Somebody's
Thanks,
raising
Jamel.
their hand.
It's certain that the bell's gonna ring.
Yeah, that's right. Every time the class ends or begins, there's always a bell. That's right. Those are some good examples. Let's do one more quick review of a word, and then I have a quick activity for some of you.
Like that.
We're going to
Next,
talk
likely.
about likely probability.
No more black.
Oh my gosh.
The book definition says it is the likelihood that an event should happen, but there's a small chance it will not. So, when we're thinking of likely, what can we think of that makes us think about it? Is it likely that we go to lunch?
Yeah. We're going to lunch.
Yeah, but there's something could happen that stops us, like a fire drill
Oh, yeah.
or a lockdown drill. But likely, we still are gonna be able to go to lunch. So. Or, like with your bus, you know, that it's likely to always be the same driver, but there's some days there's subs or substitutes for your drivers.
Yep.
Well, let's think of some other examples of what we can take it for likely. What do you think of that? You're doing like, so which one can you think of?
It's like it may not have school.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, it's about, our weather is always one example that can help us understand likely. Because they could say it's gonna rain 5 inches tonight and we only get 1. So it helps us make predictions, but it also helps make them follow through. So. You guys can close your Chromebooks.
God.
Your Chromebook at your desk.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Okay. I'm gonna use your pencils in just a second, and I'll explain these.
That was just camera.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I used to get it. Yeah, this is different.
Yeah.
Sit down, Margaret. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
You're welcome. Thank you. Oh. It's over here, Sebastian.
With this activity, not that, you look on the sheet, you see there's different colors on listed. Then in your bag, you have some blocks. Let's take all of our blocks out.
Okay.
Oh, no.
We're what in,
Okay. How many blocks do we have?
5.
Yeah. And then we have all the different colors. So when we're looking at the red block, how many times do you think, let me rephrase that. When we're looking at the red block, how many are there of?
One.
Yeah. And then, how many blocks are there to choose from? So, the way that we can look at it is with the red blocks, we're gonna write down that there is a 1 out of 5.
How many are there?
And I have 5
You're
blocks.
right.
So, that's it. Underneath where it says question mark of the chances of grabbing the color black, we can use these words to say that there's 1 out of 5 of grabbing a red.
How many's red? Wait, don't get red in here. How many red do you got?
Mm-hmm.
No, come here. Yeah, done yet. So you can write it's 1 out of 5. No. What person?
Or you could go.
You guys have done before. 1 out of 5.
You guys ready for the next one? Okay.
I'm not.
Hmm?
I'm not. I still gotta write it.
You got it written down, James?
Yeah, buddy. Let's look at our blocks again. With our orange block, how many are there again? Yeah, that's it. It's showing us that now our orange block is 1 out of 5.
It's alright.
We're gonna give you a little bit more room to. For our orange block.
It's the Allen black.
Mhm.
Writing orange and black.
I'm writing in black because we don't have an orange pen. We have 1, and it's out of 5. Yeah, man. We're writing that for orange, Steve. You don't have to raise that.
I'm not talking about black.
We're gonna look at one more color. Okay.
That's yellow.
When we're gonna look at the last color, gray.
Well, that correct.
Now that, is there any gray blocks?
No.
So,
0 out of 5.
so we have 0 out of 5 blocks that are gray. So we're gonna go all the way down to the
And
bottom.
gray block,
Right?
is it gray?
It's gonna be written blue, just so you guys can see
One
it.
gray or zero gray? So zero, what? Yeah, you got it.
The reason that I did gray is to show you not all the colors on the sheet are gonna show up in a block form. It just shows up as being a listed color. So that's why it says that there's 0 out of. One.
If you put all these colors in your baggie, what's the chances you'll have to pull out a gray one?
One.
Is there any
Is
gray
there a
ones?
gray one in there?
No.
You would have to have
No,
one gray.
zero.
Yeah.
Zero.
Every time we look in our bag, we can have 5 blocks, 10 blocks, and not that. If gray's not in there, it's always gonna have a 0 probability.
It would be impossible.
Yeah.
We can go back up to
And blue and black one.
yellow. So when we look at our,
It's one out of a picture.
yeah, yeah. Not that,
How many do you have yellow on the side?
so
How
now,
many yellow on the side? How many yellows? What's your box? What's your box?
No, the answer's not up there.
No top of black marker block.
Okay, you're annoying.
you can read one block.
No top of black block.
Not that. I'm gonna erase the red block. No. We'll do the next one. Okay. With green. How many do we have?
One.
Yeah. So if we keep looking at